So we finally saw the release of the RTX 4070 Ti, and in this video we're gonna talk about how this card will stack up against the RTX 3080 and 3090 Ti. So let's talk about this right after the intro. So after months of speculation, we finally saw the RTX 4070 Ti being launched at CES on January the 3rd. And the specifications of this card are pretty interesting, considering that this card should stack very well against the RTX 3090 Ti in gaming. I saw that Nvidia is trying to push the narrative that this card is a workstation card, but in this video I'm gonna talk about why this is not the case. So let's start by addressing the elephant in the room, which is that this card it costs $799 at MSRP prices, but we saw that this card is being sold for even $900, which does put AMD in a bad spot because the RX 7900 XT losses for this card when it comes to ray tracing. AMD does have the advantage when it comes to pure resolution, but it seems that Nvidia is trying to push a little bit towards more performance to price. At least at this time, the RTX 4070 Ti is $400 cheaper than the RTX 4080. And remember guys, this card was supposed to be the RTX 4080 12 gigs, and Nvidia, after the backlash that they received because of this card, they decided to unlaunch and try to launch this card, which they did decrease the MSRP at $100. But let's talk about the performance of this card. So we saw a bunch of benchmarks, and this card seems to be as fast as the RTX 3090 Ti, which is pretty interesting. And Nvidia is trying to make people think that this card is an RTX 3090 Ti competitor, which had an MSRP of $2,000. So they are trying to say that they are selling a card that is as fast as an RTX 3090 Ti for $800. So let's take a look at something very interesting, and I don't think that a lot of people are paying attention to this, which is that the RTX 4070 Ti only has 12 gigs, and it's because it has 12 gigs it is going to perform very bad when it comes to a lot of pro applications such as 3D rendering, deep learning, and complex tasks. So the VRAM in this card, it is arguably the most important feature. There is a reason why the Quadro cards have 48 gigabytes of VRAM, because the VRAM actually helps in a lot of workflows, especially when it comes to processing data, because when you load entire data onto memory, you actually don't need to do a lot of reading, which will drastically improve the performance. And because this card has 12 gigs, it is going to lose to the RTX 4090 and 3090 Ti in a lot of cases, especially when it comes to 3D rendering, as I said before. When it comes to performance, the 4070 Ti is more or less 20% faster than the RTX 3080, which was a card that cost $700 MSRP. So we saw an increase in performance of 14 to 20%, but this is also an increase in 14% in MSRP. So we practically saw no gains in price to performance from the RTX 3080 to the RTX 4070 Ti. So Nvidia is trying to push this no gains to performance. It is a bit worrying that Nvidia is doing this. They say that it's because the cost of the wafers is way up in this generation because of the advanced node process from TSMC in 4 nanometers. So the RTX 4070 Ti is a pretty good card for people who are trying to push high refresh rate at 1080p and maybe 1440p. It is a card that can do 4K, but it's not going to do 4K way above 60 Hz. I think that in some games it could possibly get up to 100 FPS, but for 100 FPS at ultra settings, there you have the RTX 4080 and 4090. So it's pretty interesting, and let's see what kind of game NVIDIA is trying to push when they launch or when they announce the RTX 4070, RTX 4060 Ti, and 4060. It is going to be very interesting if you have good prices this generation. I see that is good. There is a trend that is going on with the rise in prices for GPUs that has been going on for a couple of years by now. So overall, this was the video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys like this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and see you guys in the next one.